Manifestation is a spiritual practice. It's a spiritual transformation. When you want to manifest something, you are what has to change. You have to change your inner world to match what it is you want. And a lot of spiritual transformation, it doesn't happen by choice. So what do I mean by this? For me, I went through a traumatic event. I was in a car accident about, almost 5 years ago. And this big event happened in my life that spiritually transformed me, that changed the core of who I was being. It changed my inner world. It changed how I saw myself. It changed how I saw everything, really. And that car accident was not something that I was consciously asking for. What I was consciously asking for was more. I wanted more out of my life. I wanted to have a more fulfilling life. I was seeking validation. I was seeking to feel confident and good about myself. At the time of my life, I was very unhappy with my career. I was insecure. I felt lost. I was using weed to numb myself so that I didn't have to face what I needed to do, so I didn't have to do the work, really. I was being lazy. When you're high all the time, it can pull you out of your pain because you feel happy, but it can also numb you. It numbs your ambition. It numbs your personality. It numbs your focus. It numbs your spirituality. Drugs and alcohol can be a blockage to you connecting to source, to you connecting to your own spiritual soul. And so I was stuck in that pattern, and this car accident came in. It ambushed me. It was like, no, you're not learning what you need to learn. Your soul is craving growth, and this is going to help you grow. So I believe we're given these soul lessons to help us transform to who we need to be to receive the manifestation that we want. Because if you were to receive that manifestation before you do the inner work, before you're ready to receive it, you're going to botch it all up. It's not going to go well for you. You're going to lose whatever money you're trying to get, or career, or person, because you haven't done the inner work to transform yourself to become that version of you, to become the version of you to receive it and keep it. Sometimes we get so hung up on the receiving part of manifestation, but really it's about keeping it, right? You don't just want to get the money, you want to keep the money. Or you don't want to just meet someone, meet the love of your life. You want to keep the love of your life. So in a lot of ways, manifestation is just abundance always flowing to you. It's that constant flow of money always there, love always there, that inner, confidence, validation always there. It's a feeling of wholeness and knowing that you're going to be okay no matter what, that everything is working out for your highest good, that everything is always working out for you. And a lot of that comes from this place of certainty that you're okay, that life is beautiful, that you can be happy with nothing. And a lot of that inner happiness, it comes from this trusting place that you're going to be okay no matter what, that life is going to be okay no matter what. It's this I always compare it to falling backwards into a bed of pillows. You trust that that bed's going to catch you, and it's going to be comfy. It's going to be this beautiful, catching, supportive bed that feels good to you. And most of us, we don't believe that bed's there. We don't trust it. We're not certain that it's going to catch us. We think that, we have to keep one eye over our shoulder. We think maybe there's rocks or sharp things that are going to, stab us in the back or hurt us. We don't have the certainty that we're whole, complete, loved, supported, validated all the time. That we're going to be supported by the universe or God or source, whatever you want to call it. And for me, this was something I've definitely had to work on. I'm still working on it. I'm not perfect. I still have a lot of doubts. Sometimes I'm not certain of something. Sometimes I don't always trust that bed's going to catch me, that comforting bed. But that's something I'm continually working on. And that's something that I learned through that car accident. One of the biggest lessons that I had to learn was to realize that I was a fearful person. And I knew this about myself, but I wasn't consciously accepting it and working on it. And I wasn't consciously trying to connect to my soul or trying to connect to source energy or even believing that there was any. I don't think I even trusted that anything had my back. I had to build that trust. I'm still building that trust. So you can change your inner world in two ways. You can consciously make that effort. You can see where you need to work, see where your trigger points are, see, maybe you're fearful all the time or you're having doubts all the time. You can see yourself. You can become aware of who you are and the work that you need to do, which is pretty rare. It's very hard, but most people are capable of this if they really put their minds to it. But then there's a lot of us like me who have this big event happen that forces you to change. It forces you to look at how you really see yourself, how you feel connected to source energy, how you're manifesting what it is in your life. You're just forced to look at your inner world. But what you'll realize is that by doing the inner work, by opening that channel to seeing yourself, to spiritual growth, to transformation, you are now a vessel to receive. By me going through that car accident, I completely shifted my entire inner world. I started doing the work. I started being aware of who I am, all the doubts in my mind, the lack of confidence, the lack of my ability to feel connected and validated and loved, or the fact that I was seeking those things through outside external things. The fact that I was using weed to numb myself so that I didn't have to really focus and face this life that I was living, that I didn't have to be honest with myself. And all of these things started coming to the surface after the car accident. And this wasn't an instant overnight change. It was a slow progress of me becoming more open, to me understanding myself, to me realizing that I was the problem, that my outer world was a reflection of who I am, who I was being. And I wanted something more. And here was this opportunity for me to look at myself. I had to go, why did this happen to me? I stopped being the victim of the car accident and I saw it as a blessing. I was like, wow, this happened. And look at all the change that I've made. Like, look at all that I've done because this horrible, awful thing in my mind happened to me. But I started seeing it as a blessing. I'm grateful that happened because I would not be the person I am today. I would not have had that spiritual transformation if I hadn't gone through that hard time in my life. And I love who I am today. I love the confidence I have. I love that I'm more spiritual, that I'm more open, that I feel more connected to source energy. I love that I'm willing to put myself out there on their internet, on YouTube, for people to know and see me, to help people who were, maybe struggling where I was, and show them that this is possible, that transformation, manifestation, it's all about you. It's all about your inner work, your spiritual transformation. It's all about who you're being, and what you receive is a direct correlation to who you're being. You can only receive what you're being. You only receive your match. You only receive what you're willing to hold in your vessel. You only receive what you're willing to accept as true for you. Because if you receive something and you're not ready to believe that you deserve it, you won't hold on to it. If you get the money and you don't feel like you deserved it, you're going to lose the money, or you'll find ways to blow the money, or you won't value the money. Or if you receive love, but you don't feel worthy of love, you'll find ways to mess it up, to self-sabotage. So you can change in two ways. You can wait for this big event to happen to force you to change. If you're lucky, some people just remain in that victim mentality when something happens to them and they don't actually change. But there's a huge chance that they might. Or you can consciously make that effort to change. You can become aware of who you're being right now and see that it's not matching what it is you want. You have to realize that you are what needs to change. And you could be working on yourself. You could be consciously aware and consciously doing these things, but yet something traumatic still happens to you. And all that really means is that there's an opportunity for you to transform and spiritually grow even more, even faster. And this actually just happened to me, and I try not to cry when I talk about this because I just lost both of my cats that I had for almost 16 years, and I lost them within 1 month of one another. And some of you may have noticed I didn't make videos for a while, and that was why. It was very, very hard for me to talk about manifesting or talk about money or things that I felt like at the time I didn't care about, because all I could think about is my two best friends that I lost. And I deeply value animals. I deeply valued my animals. They were my best friends. And so although this very traumatic, horrible thing happened to me recently, and it's been very difficult for me to get through, I still try and find a way to see it as a spiritual transformation for myself. Now, this didn't happen right away. I mean, it's been 3-4 months, so I've had time to process and get to this conclusion. But you can start to see the things that happen to you, like loss, traumatic events, as ways for your soul to open and for you to transform, to become the vessel to receive more, to be more. Because I have received a lot since I've been through this. I'm completely sober now. I don't do any drugs. I don't drink. I don't even think about it. I could care less about that stuff. I have totally shifted my life to be able to focus on what it is I want, to manifest my dream body. I have lost 35 pounds. I've become my ideal version of myself physically. I've been able to expand the love in my life through my relationship and family. I've been able to create my dream career, wealth. I've been able to feel deserving of all these things so that I can keep them and maintain them. And I feel like that is such a beautiful thing to teach other people, because it has transformed my life. My quality of life is so much higher now. I feel more aligned with who I'm supposed to be. I feel more authentic in the world and with myself. And I feel like I have become, so far up till now, the highest version of myself. And that may change, and I may keep growing, obviously. I don't think we ever really stop growing, as long as you're open to the lessons you receive, the soul transformations. You will continue to expand, grow, and receive more in this world. So I hope this video was helpful, and that you have a beautiful day, and I'll see you in the next video.